Welcome to the YouTube special added on edition of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. This is epic fucking podcast tonight because we have the newest addition to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys podcast. We've had him on. This is Carl. We'll refer to Carl a couple times on the Whiskey Live tastings. He's going to do one right after tonight. Knob Creek 15-year. But what the fucking awesome thing is he is now here to podcast with me. He will be podcasting in the future, and his Scotchy Bourbon Boy tag is Whiskey. Welcome, Whiskey.
Tiny.
There you go. I'm Tiny. This is Whiskey, and we are part of the Scotchy Bourbon Boy family. Way off in the distance, we do have Roxy over there. We will be referring, she'll be kind of chiming in because tonight we are so fucking excited about this. We've got a podcast set up to show everybody what store picks, bar picks, group picks, all this stuff, state picks, it's all happening and it's so confusing. Well, we're going to clear it up here tonight, and we promise you that we're going to do it. But you're here, if you're watching this already, you're on YouTube, but make sure if you're watching us, subscribe and like and comment, because comment always fucking helps.
Subscribe.
Yeah, just at the bottom, and then subscribe to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys.
There you go.
Yes, there we go. And okay, so the overall aspect of what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about it a little bit here before we start the podcast. Is we've got 4 wee Glencairns. Each one has a thing, and Roxy has curd it so nicely. Poured this blind. We are going to do this shit blind. So the first round is to our right, and to our right. You went to the left.
I got it.
It's Eagle Rare. We've got 2 bottles of Eagle Rare. One is a group pick from the Kenton Bourbon Boys.
That's this one.
And then we actually have on the silver. This is that one. Silver is no. Oh, wait.
It's got a sticker.
It does. Okay.
Yep.
The Kenton Bourbon Boys. And then this one I picked up last March in the store at my favorite liquor store here in Canton, Ohio. And I wasn't a huge fan of Eagle Rare until I picked that up. And then, so what we're going to do is try and explain why people buy the picks of these stores and these bars, and the over picking just the regular small batch that comes off the shelf, which is in a single barrel.
Yep.
So we'll explain that a little bit in detail as we get going. So Whiskey, what do you think is going to happen tonight?
I think we're going to drink bourbon.
You're fucking right there. Yeah, but
I'm a master of the obvious.
I would agree with that, but okay, so you can always state that.
No, it'll be interesting. So I mean, honestly, so there is some difference, right? Because when you get a group pick, right, this is going to be a single barrel. So this is one barrel going into this. That
group pick, they got out of however many they went down to Buffalo Trace as a group, and they all got together, tasted a bunch of barrels, picked out the best one that they thought was to represent them as a group, and then they bottle it, bring it back up here to Ohio, and then through the group distribute the pick. And and then that one right there, that Eagle Rare.
This is the other. So the group pick has a sticker on it, and this one doesn't. So and then this one is from.
This one was from, I believe it was from about probably about June or July. It was before Kentucky Bourbon Festival, and I opened that up the day I bought it, and I was just like, wow, I like Eagle Rare now. So,
and this is not a single barrel, right? This will be
no. That now the other 2 that we're tasting head to head is Knob Creek, and Knob Creek. These both are barrel picks, and one was picked in Wisconsin. The one that's less at and I was eating at the restaurant bar during the finals last year of the Bucks. When we were in Milwaukee, the Bucks were in the finals, and we were in one of the games at that bar, and they came around and had you taste it, and I bought a bottle. So I really enjoyed that. But then the other bottle is when I was in Bardstown. There's a liquor store there, and that particular liquor store had a Knob Creek pick. So what we're going to do is kind of compare a bar pick to a liquor store pick to kind of tell you that if you're, and then we've got the Canton Bourbon Boys pick versus the regular Eagle Rare, and kind of tell you that no matter what you understand what these are. These two are single barrel against each other. This is single barrel against a blend or a small batch against each other. And it'll kind of illustrate what you want to do when you're finding out about these store picks or these state picks or these, restaurant picks or these group picks. So if you find a group and they're all going down there, the same people are going down there or certain things, you might find a group that has a palate similar to yours. And that's kind of what you want to do. You want to make sure that just because they're store picks or state picks or whatever, that these picks are in line with your palate, because everybody's palate's so different that you got to make sure you just don't want to be randomly buying these picks, because sometimes the picks, if the wrong people at a store or whatever are picking, it might not coincide with your palate. So
and in this particular case, like Eagle Rare, they're going to taste they should taste different, because you have a single barrel versus a blend, where in the blend they're trying to control that taste, right? They're trying to make it
they're trying to be consistent
with the other product that goes on the shelf.
But I always felt, and I've asked a lot of distillers from year to year when they're doing that, if they can improve upon the taste, like make it better, are they doing it? And most of them say what you basically go with, if you're doing, let's just say, a 30 barrel blend, of all these different barrels, and it's really sweet, and you're trying to take it down to be more what the flavor profile is, but all the barrels are sweet, you end up coming up with a better batch. And that's the thing. Just because Eagle Rare for the last 10 years was oaky, and it was also high rye, and it's also for me, it was a little bit, what would you say, on more of the not sweet bourbon taste, whereas this bottle that I got was a lot sweeter and caramelier and not as oaky. And so that's one of the things that we'll talk about later on the podcast, about how where the bourbon boom is coming from. I really believe it also has to do with the aging process, the quality of the barrels being made. Everything is benefiting. Some things, if you use the technology wrong, it's going to make it worse, because it makes it more industrialized or custom. It's not as unique. But at the same time, if you get these master distillers who understand what they're looking for, they can use that technology, be way more productive with what they're producing, and then actually increase the taste. So we're about to see that tonight blind. So this is going to be pretty exciting. So
I'm excited.
There's the little extra you picked up from YouTube. We are about ready to get going with the podcast. So here we go. We'll start this baby off.
The watershed story. A watershed moment might be pivotal, but it might also be quiet and fleeting. It could be a monumentous occasion, a cause for celebration, an enormous triumph, or a small daily victory. A watershed moment could be a rekindling or an observation or a gathering. Any opportunity to relish with friends and family. It's whatever you choose to cheers to, who you're gathered around, and whatever's worth celebrating. We founded Watershed Distillery on the principles of community in 2010. We wanted to live in, work in, and contribute to the community in which we grew up. We aimed to create spirits and stood apart in quality and character. Along the way, we set out to form a community of our own, one that could gather together to savor, celebrate, and enjoy good spirits and company. We've grown from a tiny little still and 2 guys in jumpsuits to a dedicated team of over 40 people and 2 much larger stills. If you're ever in the area, stop by so we can introduce you to our team and pour you some of our award-winning bourbon. Creating it was our watershed moment, but we want to hear about yours.
Spirits of French Lick is proud to introduce the Maddie Gladden Bottled and Bond Bourbon. This 4-year aged bourbon is double pot distilled and non-chill filtered and has a full-bodied mouthfeel with eucalyptus, molasses, clove, ginger, and slight citrus as well as grains of paradise. The finish is long and reappearing on the back of the tongue with notes of pepper, tobacco leaf, and mint cream. All of our spirits are available for tasting and purchase inside the French Lick Winery and Distillery. Spirits of French Lick. Respect the grain, please enjoy responsibly, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
Boom! Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We are here on a special kind of Friday night insert of the podcast, and I have a new member of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, Whiskey. Welcome, Whiskey. High five, man. He's here. He's ready to go, and tonight we have something lined up for you damn special. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Just remember www.scotchybourbonboys.com. Go to that website, find out everything. Right after this, we have a Whiskey Live, which happens every second and fourth Friday, where we get together on a panel of 4 or 5 different Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Sometimes we got guests, sometimes we don't, but overall, we're always going to be tasting a whiskey. We will rate it for you and just have a good time drinking along. Check that out. If you're not going to see this, but check that out in the future. And then also, if you're there, top right hand corner, hit the Patreon button. All the Patreon there's a ton of support you can give us. There's anything from a posting chip to Glencairn to Scotchy Bourbon Boys t-shirts. You could get all of our garb plus tastings, paintings. Just check that out. All the support that you give us, we absolutely love. We are also on all major podcast formats, also on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and there's one more. LinkedIn. There we go. I just threw that on. Yeah, I am.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I post all the time on LinkedIn.
Scotchy Bourbon Boys post on LinkedIn.
No, it's Jeffrey Mueller.
Okay.
Jeffrey Mueller's LinkedIn. Yeah, a little bit different. I just threw it because it didn't come to me. Anyways, but check us out on all those formats and podcast formats, and then just know that you just want to like, subscribe, anything, and then make sure that you can leave some good feedback for us. If you got bad feedback, just please don't do that. All right. Just find a different podcast if you don't like what we're doing.
That's
right?
Yeah. You don't have to watch.
All right.
We like it if you do, but you don't have to.
We're recording on YouTube, right? I at one point and it said recording, correct?
I have no idea.
Let me see. I should check.
We might be doing.
Yes, we're recording.
There you go. Fantastic.
All right. So tonight, we've got this really cool thing set up. It was between me and myself and Whiskey. We're talking. I'm tiny, by the way. And then we were talking.
You realize you just admitted publicly that you're tiny.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I do it all the time.
Sorry.
My wife knows better, right, honey?
He's not.
So anyways, thank you, Roxy. Let's just get into a little bit of what we're doing. We are going to be tasting a Knob Creek single barrel select from
Store?
A liquor store in Bardstown, Kentucky, and then also a single barrel select from a bar in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on the south side. And they both did the picks at Knob Creek. They sent people down, and this is going to illustrate the difference between what the group's palates are and why you might want to buy one of these and find a group or find a restaurant or find a liquor store that does fabulous picks. And if you do, that just means you're finding that liquor store, that bar, that group or whatever that aligns with your palate. But if it's not aligned with your palate, then I would suggest not to go further down the road and find the place and that fits what your palate is, because that's what this is all about. I was talking initially when I had a store pick and I had gone down to see Randy Prossi and Steve Coombs, and we did a podcast and we were tasting it, and Steve Coombs said exactly what everybody thinks. These store picks, these single barrel store picks coming directly from these distilleries, if you find the right ones, they're just fantastic. They're better than the original expressions, and we're going to do that. We've got the Canton Bourbon Boys pick that they did. And then we also have the actual small batch Eagle Rare right off the shelf. And we're going to put that up so everybody can see. Now,
so we're going to do a little head-to-head, little verses, right?
It's going to be head-to-head, but we're going to be fair as fuck. That's what it is, because this is blind. And Roxy, kindly enough, has poured we're not going to try and pick Knob Creek to Eagle Rare. We're going to put Eagle Rare against Eagle Rare and Knob Creek against Knob Creek, and then come up with the results. That's what we want to do here tonight, and kind of excited about it.
So Jeff, what do you think of store picks? I mean, what's your personal opinion? Not what you just said in the podcast, but what do you think?
Well, as far as store picks, initially, it's once again, it's what aligns from your palate. The first time I ever had a store pick, I didn't realize I had a store pick. It was early on in the game. 1792 Foolproof had been named the bourbon of the year. Okay, it was all over the place. So when we first met Super Nash, he sent up a case of Foolproof, but it was a store pick. And I did not realize that at the time what a store pick was. I thought we were going to be drinking the bourbon of the year. Okay, all of us, we got a case. I sold it to the members. Whatever we just distributed to the members, everybody got a bottle, but it was hot.
Really?
Oh, it was spicy and hot. We opened it that night and we did the tasting, and it was, I would say, fireball hot. I mean, it was, wow. It was like, bam, slam the shit out of your palate. Okay. It wasn't until about a year later when I was really into bourbon, and I'm like, oh my God, I had completely forgot about that bottle. And I went to the distillery and bought one right from the distillery, signed by the master distiller at 1792 Barton's. And I brought it home, opened it, and I put it up against that store pick. And that Foolproof was absolutely delicious. It wasn't hot. That barrel that store had picked was hot. It was like a punch it was just too overwhelming. There was no taste to it. But the Foolproof was wonderful and whatever. So that made me start to understand what store picks. But then I've had Knob Creek picks. When Knob Creek first started, Super Nash was sending us up store picks from that. And the first store picks that were coming out of Knob Creek were 15-year-old barrels, not the 9, not the 12, they were 15-year-old barrels, okay? They were $45 a piece, and 15 years, 100. It was $99.99 in the blend. And they were just, the 2 bottles that he sent up were so fantastic. They blew away Knob Creek 9. They just blew away all Knob Creeks. Myself and Young Nose had tasted it. We were begging for more. It was that good. It was like, drink it and like, there's no way bourbon can taste like this. So those store picks were fantastic, okay? But then I got a Foolproof store pick, and that was fantastic too. I don't think yet I've had Weller Foolproof that's not a store pick. I think all 3 bottles were store picks.
Oh.
So
it's so hard to get.
Right. But it's delicious. All 3 of those bottles were superior really great bourbon. So, so I love store picks. Now, the last one I'm going to say is sometimes store picks really can wreck your world. Everybody knows what Buffalo Trace is, and it's a small batch that's delivered, and it's a bunch of barrels mixed together and put out. But there were some small Buffalo Trace store picks that I got, and it wrecked Buffalo Trace for me. It really did. I will never buy another bottle of Buffalo Trace, because what was in those bottles of those single barrel store picks was so far superior. It was like the regular Buffalo Trace is a really good off the shelf mainline bourbon like Jim Beam or whatever, and it probably is 10-12 points better than Jim Beam.
So, interestingly enough, I've kind of come full circle. I started out going, I didn't really know what a store pick was, but when we went to Kentucky, they're everywhere. Total Wine, Liquor Barn, they all have store picks.
Yep.
And so I bought one and I hated it, but it didn't taste like the product I'm used to.
Right.
And I liked the product I was used to. I didn't care for the store pick.
Right.
And so and then the other thing is, if I fall in love with Eagle Rare, I want to be able to go to the store and replicate that experience. I want to be able to go buy the Eagle Rare I like. And if you get a single barrel Eagle Rare, and it's to your point, if it's an amazing experience, and then you go buy the regular Eagle Rare and it kind of sucks, then
that's the Buffalo Trace. Yeah.
So now, I mean, you can never have that bottle again, right? So part of me wanted to have that experience or enjoy the bourbons or find the bourbons that I can find again, because I didn't want to have that one special bottle that I'm afraid to drink the last 3 inches of, because I'm never going to have it again. But then I see the other side of the coin now too, that if you can get an exceptional experience, and because so many bottles are unicorns, and you might have one bottle of it in your lifetime. Mm-hmm. And I mean, a great example are some of the Pappies, right? For some people, they'll never have one. Some people, you might only ever get one.
Or a pour
out at a restaurant. So why do we subject ourselves to that? Why do we allow that? Why don't we just go out and keep buying it? Well, because the store pick to me kind of gives you that same opportunity. You could end up with an amazing bottle that you're going to cherish, and every pour is going to break your mouth. But when that bottle's gone,
but the cool thing about a store pick, or they're going to keep doing these picks with other bourbons. And if you find a store that's consistently picking that palette of that is matching what you like, then you instead of sticking to the bourbon, you stick to the store picks. You see, then you know that you're going to try other bourbon, and these people they know what they're picking because it aligns with what you're picking. It doesn't align with all I'm going to say is some people like broccoli and some people don't. And it's the same thing with bourbon. I don't like dill in my rye, I love dill pickles. I'm not going to lie. I love dill pickle. I'll eat a dill pickle, but I don't want it.
Bourbon finished in broccoli barrels.
Well,
I mean, I haven't seen that yet.
There's a reason for that, probably.
Well,
someone's gonna probably like it, because that's just how this fucking works.
It will.
So it's like, you just can't be getting upset at somebody because their palate doesn't like what your palate, because what they drink has nothing to do with you. It's like all the people who are out there like trolling people. That's what I try to get that point across. You drink what you like. If you don't like it, you can tell me you don't like it. I have no problem with that. But don't sit there and tell somebody they're an idiot because they do, because that makes you the idiot.
Yeah, social media is horrible right now. All you got to do is find somebody that posted something about Blanton's, and somebody will say it's overrated. Somebody will say it's the best pour ever. Somebody will say it's not worth $65. Somebody else is going to pay $120 for it. I mean, it's one of the most divisive bourbons I think I've seen in social media.
Well, but that's because it's a single barrel, and single barrels, everybody's right. I know so many people that have had really good single barrels and single barrels of Blanton, and that's what it is. They're always picking it, but it's always different. It's all aging different and everything, and they're just pouring these single barrels in. Yes, they have to match a profile, and they're trying to get them the same, but some are on this level of the same, and some are on this level of the same.
Yeah.
And if you get your first single barrel and you pick that Bland's and you're get that one, you're like, oh my God, this is delicious. But then if you get one of these, and then what you realize is the whole topper program is designed to keep you coming back when you get the meh, because you might try another one to get the topper, and then you get a good one. And it's not that any of it's bad. It's just that what people are trying to do and how much that secondary price is, it's just not worth it. I mean, it's a $65 bottle. There's no doubt. And if you get the $45 version or you get the $85 version, that's what happens.
Well, like I always say, drink what you like, drink it how you like it, and pay for it what you want.
Yeah, the other night you liked it with just a little hot tub water.
Nope, no, never got hot tub water in the bourbon.
Okay.
But I did find out solo cups will float in the hot tub.
Yeah, they do.
So that was handy.
And they have measuring devices, right? All in the solo cup.
Oh, yeah.
All those little levels are just different levels of what you're
good.
supposed to fill up.
Yeah, it was good though.
Okay. All right. So
what are we going to do first? The left or the right?
I think we should do the left.
So that's Knob Creek. That's
you can read
Knob Creek.
Now, I'll read off the store. Do you need glasses or?
Yeah, I would need glasses and a light.
All right, so I'll handle this one. It's what's really cool is when you get we are going to be doing a Knob Creek pick for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, and it's going to read down here the Scotchy Bourbon Boys.
And that'll be in the fall of.
No, well, that's when it's going to be available. We're going to do it June 9th, and it's July, August. It'll be sometime August, early September, late August, early. But this one is the Explorium Brew Pub. It's 120 proof, and it was put into the barrel 2011, 10/20/2011, and came out 4/12/2021. So just under 10 years. It's 9 years and 7, 6, 7, right? 4, 6, 4, no, 6.
Hey.
9 years, 6, 9.5. Okay.
Barbie says math is fine.
Barbie's right.
Yeah, this one's State Line Liquor Depot.
Right out, it's a liquor store right on the edge of Bardstown, Kentucky.
Also bottled at 120 proof. So maybe they proof it all of them down to 120.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The barrel picks are when you do a barrel pick for Knob Creek, it's either 100 or 120.
And then
most people
this one is aged 9 years, 8 months.
And it was 2011 too, though, right? Pretty close.
They
were
bottled,
pretty much
bottled in 21.
right, and put in the barrel in 2011. So they're the same year, probably the same growing season. So this is really close. But this is what people do. We're going to pick to the left. So here we go. I've got our tasting notes.
Which glass are you doing first? The
Yep.
Heaven Hill.
The Heaven Hill. Yeah, I don't know if they're any different. I have no idea. So
I love the glass, by the way.
These are wee Glencairns,
Tiny.
courtesy of Martin Duffy of the. We don't actually have wee Glencairns of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We have the actual Glencairns. I think there's one right here. If I don't knock it off. Oh yes, I did it right there. And they are for sale on the website. If you also message me, I'll get some out to you. We can do a Venmo transaction and $15. All right, here we go. So this is the first one. We have no idea what it is. So what this is going to do is say that we're going to be able to pick out which one we might like better, or they're the same, or whatever. We'll be able to pick out notes with no bias of which one's which. I did open this one. This one's the one from the brew pub. It's been open a while. This one was open tonight, but I let it air for 10 minutes, put the cap on, flipped it, and let it air for another about half hour. So this is not a neck pour. We've pretty much eliminated the neck pour. So here we go. You get the classic peanut nose on this for Jim Beam, and I'm getting a little bit of apple. And a little bit of cinnamon. Okay. Now I'm getting a little caramel. So it's like, this is like a peanut caramel apple.
Yeah, like apple pie. It's kind of like an apple pie.
Now, when doing it, you can always roll your Glencairn like this, look at the sides, and you're going to get it dripping down. This really clings to the side before it starts its, And what the streams that come back into the Glencairn are, those are considered legs. They're called legs, and how thick and thin they are. But look at that. It still hasn't decided it wanted to do any legs. Great thing about a Glencairn, it's got the base here, so you don't have to warm up your bourbon. And you can look at it, judge its color. This is definitely a caramel color. Still, oh, there they are. The legs are pretty, they're long, but they're thin, if you can see that, right?
Absolutely. That's what I got on mine too.
All right. So let's give this baby a taste. Sweet. Graham cracker. A lot of graham cracker. That's pretty damn good though. That's right up there. Ooh, what a hug. Nice hug. What's the finish? It's like, what the finish is apple.
Is that what you're getting?
I'm getting just apple, like exactly the same taste that's in your mouth after you're done eating an apple.
Like a Granny Smith though, not a Macintosh.
I'll give you that.
Definitely, there's a little punch of rye there too, as it starts to finish.
Well, all Jim Beam has that. That's a little bit higher. They're known for that. I mean, that's Jim Beam.
Yeah. But for those people that don't drink a lot of Jim Beam because they're stuck on Buffalo Trace products.
Yeah, it's not a weeded, that's for sure.
Oh, hell no.
Now, when you're nosing, every single time you can have a dominant nostril, but it can switch. I used to think it was just one, but it does switch from time to time. That's delicious, wouldn't you say? I mean, that is some good shit. That's,
you know, for being almost 10 years old, it definitely, you can taste the age. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's in the sweet spot.
It's a little more sophisticated than buying your average 3 to 6 year bottle where you can taste the adolescence.
They put that age statement back on the Normal Knob Creek, but Normal Knob Creek does not have this intensity of sweetness.
No, you definitely feel
it's
it.
More peanutty.
You feel it on the front tongue.
Yeah, this is sweet. All right, so there's that one.
I'm gonna save just a little in case I need to go
Whoa, the microphone decided to freak out. All right, let's put that back up and tighten her down. All right.
Ooh. Oh, Jeff. The nose of this one is real good. Are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, good. The nose of this is real good. Like, holy cow good.
There's
There's
more, but there's even a floral.
Butter crunch ice cream. Oh, that's good. That is a great nose.
That's a little bit more caramely.
Yeah, a lot more caramely. A lot more caramely on the nose.
The other one was like that, had that sourness. There's no sourness to it at all,
No,
like that
sweet.
apple. All right, let's hit this.
Same legs, interestingly enough.
Which would make sense. A lot more vanilla on this one. Way less oak. Yeah, I like this one better. So,
holy cow, is that good?
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of vanilla, a lot of it. Ooh, a lot of vanilla.
I get a little lemon zest on the finish.
Do you?
Just a little lemon zest right
See,
there.
I'm getting that. I like this. I mean, not only did you get the caramel on the nose, but on the palate,
yeah,
it's more of that toffee kind of, sugar and butter in the pan kind of feel.
It's better. This one's better,
hands down.
So we pick
the whatever is in this glass, the Bourbon Festival 2021.
You pick the Bourbon Festival and I picked the Bourbon Festival. I don't know. Roxy's over there resting, but the Bourbon Festival on the Knob Creek, it was easily
night
better.
and day.
I would
Night and day.
I would like to think this is, but I've never tasted the store pick from the Bardstown liquor store. So I don't know. Both were good. Both were delicious. One was unique, but this one is, and this one's hotter. Like there's more heat on
the finish.
The hug. Like it really warms you up.
So the Bourbon Festival 2021 glasses are the store pick.
The store pick, the brand.
Knob Creek store pick.
There you go.
Wow. You
So-
would have been wrong, right?
What?
You would have been wrong, or did you think it was a store?
No, I don't know because I never tasted this. I knew what this tasted like and I liked it. And once again, I like it, but I couldn't tell you.
Single barrel
I wasn't
is
trying-
the
So-
where they have
So
no
what
glass.
that would say is that, look,
Knob Creek, right?
what I would say is that if I was going to go back to Bardstown, I would definitely at this liquor store, hun, it's that little liquor store right outside of town
Yeah.
on the way to the
Right,
thing.
that little blue shop.
Yeah, that just little shop, and it's like they had that store pick. I saw it, I picked it up because I love it. But I mean, it's delicious, and it's like you get
You know,
this kind of thing.
This reminds me a lot of this year's Knob Creek 12, just a little bit younger.
I don't. I don't know. I'll tell you after I have this year's Knob Creek 12, because in my opinion, there's nothing young about it. On this doesn't taste young to me at all.
This is real good.
Yeah, it's delicious, and that cost me $49.99.
Wow.
That's it.
So
Walked out of there with the store pick from them. I figured I was in Bardstown.
it tastes a lot more. It tastes like it's a more expensive bourbon than $49.99.
So this is why what we're trying to illustrate is why you have to. They're different. They definitely have a flavor profile that's similar. There's certain things, but when you're putting them side by side, you would definitely think there's no way I would not buy another. If I had to buy a bottle and it was Knob Creek and that's all I had, I would pick up this restaurant pick. But if I had, I would be going back when I go back to Bardstown, I'm going in that liquor store and seeing what their picks are, because the people picking from the first one opposed to the people picking for the store. And that's the key. The people picking and their palates are more aligned with what myself and whiskey, Tiny and whiskey like. And it's night and day, obvious. It's not
Night and day.
yeah.
Like I wish you guys could all try this because it is so different. It is crazy.
Right. So that's what we're talking about. These are single barrels. They're not Knob Creek in a small batch. They're not, but that's what these single barrels are what they use to make it. But what happens is when they're making these flavor profiles and trying to match it, because if you buy Knob Creek on the shelf, what you're going to get each time is you're going to get consistency. After this pick, the next pick's going to be different.
Completely different.
We'd never get another bottle of this, but this bottle is worth having once.
Oh yeah.
So that's how it goes. That's how it works.
I'll be sad when that one's empty.
Well, there'll be a lot of it for you, man.
That is a really great bourbon.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So you put that one off, but that's what I was talking about. We're tasting these 15 years from these store picks, and it was just the same thing. It was just so delicious. It's like we're like, super next, get us more, get us more, get us. He never was able to because when we went back, they were sold out. But it's kind of how this works. So
Yeah, just buttery.
we'll highlight
good.
that we liked the pick from, I'll get it in the light here, the State Line Liquor Depot right outside of Bardstown, Kentucky. It's on the way when you're going to go to Limestone Branch and Log Still and whatever.
Hey, shout out to State Line Liquor Depot because that's a damn good bottle.
Yep.
And really, that's a great comparison because those are probably, like you said, grown in the same season,
Right.
more than likely aged in the same warehouse, about the same amount of time. And yet you have two flavor profiles that are very, very different.
All right. So now we're going to hit this Eagle Rare and we're going to rate these. We're going to do the barrel bashing aspect. And you've heard the barrel bash, correct?
No, is that a new dance move for?
No, the barrel bash is we bash. It's the rating system is you can give the nose a 4, up to a 4. You can give the taste up to a 6. You can give the body a 4. No, the taste up to a 5. the body up to a 4, and the finish up to a 5, for a total of 18 points. But if something's exceptional, you can give it a butt up. And a butt up is you think it's exceptional. So if you could give any one category, can't give it more than one unless you break the rules, because sometimes people break the rules.
But you can go up one.
Up one on one category if you think it's exceptional.
Okay.
All right. So we've got these 2 bourbons here. I have no idea. One's the actual bourbon that is off the shelf,
Right.
Eagle Rare, and the other one's
If you're lucky enough, you can walk in the store and find that if you're one of the first 6 people in line.
it's a Canton Bourbon Boys pick. It's a local group that we have around here. That's their pick. And we're going to put it right up against the actual Eagle Rare and see what happens. Cheers.
Cheers. Which one are you doing first?
I'm doing the 2021 one.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Nice nose.
It's not as good as the
Is the Knob Creek. Yeah.
not neither. There's like a brewer's beer aspect, like the rye really comes through on this nose. I'm not, oh, excuse me. The NFL's contacting me about a new contract for Aaron Rodgers. What do I get? Cherry, a little? No, stone fruit. Okay, this is, I get sour cherry.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sour cherry. Been getting that a lot from Eagle Rare.
All right. I'm not getting a lot of caramel, that's for sure.
No, but there's like a little sugariness in there.
Yeah. Sour cherry.
But not your traditional like toffees, caramels.
No, it's like I
vanilla.
always refer to like the root beer, like a ginger root, or you know that
Sugar cane.
Right. It's more
It's more pure.
it's
sugar
the part
cane.
it's the part of root beer that's there that is, if you minus the sugar, you get that kind of on some, and that's kind of what's here. It's a little, it's starting to pick up. It's definitely starting to pick up a little bit of sweetness. It's almost a floral, right? Like a flower petal. Okay, I've snipped the shit out of this. All right, so this is not as dark. This is a little bit more of like a, it's not red, and it's, the other one was just like pure caramel. This is just a little bit lighter than that, right? A golden, let's say a golden caramel.
Yeah, this is more like a Molson's gold.
Right. A lot of vanilla,
A lot of vanilla.
but there's rye.
You know, I don't get much on the palate. It's kind of a letdown. Now, I mean, once you go the back of the palate, you get a lot of that
You get a
almost
little bit of oak, a little bit of rye.
almost a French vanilla.
Yeah, a little bit of like that vanilla, but on the front end, it's very,
Just a little bit of sweetness.
I want to say the front end is drinkable. This is drinkable. It's not, no, this is a 10-year in both cases. That's 10 years old. So I get a little toast on the finish too. All right, so there's that one. I'm leaving a little bit so I can compare the two. Let's hit the other one.
That's what I did. Wow, that is a heavy vanilla aftertaste. Heavy. If you don't like vanilla aftertaste, you would hate this bourbon.
Now this
But
one's,
I happen to like it.
this one is completely, to me, burnt brown sugar.
Oh yeah, a lot more toffee.
Yeah, like a caramel, a burnt caramel.
I almost need a minute to get that other one out of my nose. Need some coffee beans to smell. Oh yeah, more complex for sure on the
Yeah.
nose.
A lot more happening on this one. All right, let's hit this. Wow. Holy crap. Much better than the, it's not weak. A lot of caramel on the front.
More wheat coming through for me. You get that, you get all the flavors associated with the wheat as opposed to a bunch of rye.
Although this is a rye bourbon.
I know.
Right.
It's weird.
No, I know. I like the caramely aspect of it.
Me too.
This is sweet. I enjoy this a lot. This reminds me of what I love about bourbon. This is the one that the logs still. So what do you got? The limestone branch?
Yep.
Hey, Roxy.
Yeah,
So we just did the taste test on the Eagle Rare.
Yeah, I definitely like this one better.
And we don't like the 2021 on that. We like the log still and the limestone branch. What were those?
so the log still and limestone branch glasses are the regular Eagle Rare.
Regular Eagle Rare.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Just on the shelf. Eagle Rare, yeah.
So this,
Boy, is that good.
yeah.
That's real good.
And so that's why I love that bottle. It's going up against, so the classic Eagle Rare before, which was not my favorite, this first one is more towards the classic Eagle Rare that I've had like 6-7 bottles in 3 years. Okay. I got 2 bottles in there that taste like this. But the newest Eagle Rare that I got, that I just won, it was just there and whatever, that's that caramely, it's got like complex, nice notes to it. It's a delicious bourbon.
Oh, the nose is so much
So if
better
you go
than
revisit the other one, it's very thin, and that other one's a single barrel.
yeah, which is shocking, really.
And the rye's there, and then you get that other one with the caramel. So once again, what this experiment we try to do, myself and whiskey, is we're trying to show people that if you find a group that you're really liking their picks, that's where you want to buy, because hopefully they're consistently sending the same people down to be able, to be able to do these picks. But if you find a place and you're not aligned with that pick,
Well, and don't be afraid to ask. I mean, if you're in a store and they've got store picks, you can say, hey, do the same people pick all your store picks?
right?
Because if they have different groups.
I've had some great picks from the state of Ohio, and I've had some clunkers. And what happens is when you start to understand who's going, it's who's picking. They don't always, it's not the same consistent people because they do so many picks. It can't be the same. There's just too many picks that they're doing for the state of Ohio. So different teams are going down. So what you'd like to see is that the state of Ohio numbered their teams and said, this is Ohio State pick team number 1. That would be really cool if they could put that on there. And then if you like team number 3, you'd get those team number 3 picks.
Well, you know, and for a
it's
while,
very important.
For a while, Ohio was actually putting the flavor profiles of the barrels up on social media. But then people started getting mad because
it wasn't matching those flavor.
Correct.
Because
and it seemed like anything that was caramel and vanilla ended up in Columbus, and anything that was rye ended up in Cleveland. And if you were in the northwest or southeast part of the state, you got what you got if you got anything.
Right. And that's just the nature of the business of what happens. And I think that Ohio has started changing that, but it's still, you're not going to get the same team. So it would be cool. I just thought of that, to have a suggestion on what team is picking, and then have certain teams going that are consistent so people can know what their palates are aligned to, because, you know, they'll get excited about it. So, you know, I think we've illustrated in this case, these 2 barrel picks from a bar and also a liquor store. We like the liquor store, and then we have a pick from a group that was still it was good compared to like the old
bourbon.
Right, it's not bad bourbon, but the actual blend off the shelf this year was like it was better,
Just superior.
Yeah, there was no doubt it was better. So you really got to kind of know what you're doing when you do these picks. Don't go in blindly.
And don't get a pick just because it's a pick.
Right.
And don't get a pick because everybody else is getting a pick. Get a pick because you want to get the pick. Because you like the pick. The other thing, Jeff, a lot of people may not know, but when you go to Kentucky and somebody like Liquor Barn or Total Wine, they have a pick. A lot of times they have a tasting room at the big box.
Oh, yeah.
And their picks will be in the tasting room. So,
Yep.
for instance, I went down to Total Wine, and I was in the tasting room, and they made a suggestion. I tried a Nulu store pick. So it was a single barrel. And actually, they had 3 different barrels that they had bought. And I disliked 2 of them a lot. They tasted young, waxy. I didn't care for them. But this third one,
Wow.
oh, that's really loud. The third one was real good. It was real complex. I really enjoyed it. So I bought the bottle, took it back, played some cards, loved it so much I drank half of it, and then went back the next day and got 2 more because I know I'll never get that bottle again.
Yep.
So, but don't sell yourself short. If you are going to go down to Kentucky and you're going to be going to the liquor barn and Total Wine and some of the places that do picks, I would absolutely say that you deserve to try it before you buy it. And they'll let you do that for $4 or $5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, if you're in different states, there's different rules. The same thing in Wisconsin. They'll let you taste anything that you want to try. So, but here in Ohio, we don't have that luxury. That's not how it works, because if they were giving it out, the state would like assume that they were trying to do something shady and go and arrest the owner letting you taste. But that's just the state of Ohio. We're a control state. In the other states, it doesn't quite work that way. And it's really nice to be able to go to a Total Wine or a liquor barn or a party source right on the border there in Kentucky and be able to get that done. So anything else to add? I think we really kind of took care of that single barrel kind of thing for everybody, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say, try it all, because you never know what you're going to like. And buy what you like, drink it the way you like it, and pay for it what you want.
Right. So remember, www.scotchybourbonboys.com.
And a shout out to our sponsors, Watershed.
You can say Watershed, Log Still, and Spirit of French Lake.
There you go.
You'll hear their ads on the front and the back. I do readings. I'm getting better at that. I actually done my own. So
yeah, he doesn't have to mouth out the words anymore.
Well, I used to sit here and try and read it and then put on glasses and whatever and look like an old man, even though I am an old man. But at the same time, this is a lot easier when you figure out how to use the technology and make it sound better. So
anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yep.
Peace.
Facebook. We're going to have our meeting here in Canton, Ohio at the Barrel Room on April 22nd at 7 p.m. Everybody's invited, and get here because Ohio Liquor will be there and Dimmick to answer all your questions, and we'll have a really cool tasting with a nice, April 22nd, we'll get a couple of food trucks there. So awesome. It should be an awesome time. So anyways, thanks everybody. And remember, good bourbon equals good friends and good times, and go out there and live your life fucking dangerously.
Break out all the white guys.
Scotch.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
All right, there we go. Let me do the magic. We'll first do the magic here. All right, get the saving and then say goodbye to everybody on YouTube. I think that was a pretty cool podcast, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting. That didn't come out the way I thought it would.
What?
Oh, going head to head. The versus thing. Blind.
There's only I really felt you're right on the Knob Creek. It was not nothing. I couldn't. There's no way I could tell because I never tasted the other one. You got to, if you're trying to taste, certain tastes and whatever.
But that was the first time for all those bottles for me.
Yeah,
and honestly, I mean, there is no competition.
I know there's definitely zero, right? Okay, let's see. We are going to tasting single
Store picks. It's easier to do that. You might do a single barrel again.
tasting store picks blind. That was fun doing it blind, wasn't it?
Actually, I would do that. I would do that again. Do a head versus or head to head.
Well,
blind.
anytime you do it, you just eliminate all. You have no marketing.
Yeah.
So you put a Knob Creek up against an Eagle Rare, we could do that, and then you don't know which ones, and then you really eliminate the marketing.
Right.
But I could tell you that with the peanutty taste, this didn't have the peanutty taste. That had an apple caramel rye, and this definitely has that nutty taste.
And a bigger punch rye.
But this is 120, and I believe Eagle Rare is 90,
I
right?
think it is, yeah.
45, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's 90. So there's no difference in these are two completely different bourbons. They're not comparable. You can't put a 120 up against a 90. If we're any good, we would know it right away.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
What's up, Big Bill?
we got Xavier coming in, but good night, everybody on YouTube. We will see you next time here on this. What? Oh, that was
Actually, we'll see you in about an hour on a live tasting.
well on the live tasting. Correct.
Dant Crossing, Gethsemane, Kentucky. Timeless hospitality that stirs the spirit. Dant Crossing is a one-of-a-kind destination for unforgettable weddings, memorable corporate events, day trips, and weekend getaways. The pastoral campus is anchored by Log Still Distillery and includes an amphitheater that seats 2,000, a 12-acre lake for fishing and unique lodging options, creating an immersive experience that's rooted in the community and culture of our little slice of Kentucky. More attractions will open soon at Dant Crossing, including our 21,000 square foot distillery, which we will have the ability to produce 15,000 barrels of spirit each year, a network of wooded walking trails, fully functional private train depot, farm-to-table restaurant, and the Legacy, a premier wedding and events venue. Whether you're looking to host an event, book a stay, or reserve a tasting, we're ready to welcome you. Learn more at dantcrossing.com.